And today we can say that about a third of all white children and about 2/3 of black children will witness the breakup of their parents' first marriage. And what's even more deplorable is that they say about 45% of white children and over 2/3 of black children who witness the breakup of their parents' first marriage will also see the breakup of their second marriage. So what are some of the specific effects then of divorce on these children? Well, 30 to 50%, it's estimated, of children of divorce suffer very varying degrees of personality impairment, sometimes lasting over their lifetime. But even before divorce, children are affected personality-wise. When they hear their parents arguing, they wonder, are they going to get a divorce? When? Who am I going to live with? Am I going to have to move to another state, to another city? Am I going to have to leave my school, my friends? Very young children sometimes have guilt feelings that they did something bad that caused their parents' divorce. School-age children, we've found, have more absenteeism in school and lower academic achievement levels than, and this is in general I'm talking about here, than children of divorce. And they also sometimes become rather aggressive and belligerent with their peers, not really understanding why, or else they become, because they have low self-esteem, perhaps overly conformist. Then another fallout from divorce is that children who only have one role model, they don't have a mother and a father role model, may have sexual identity problems. The children of divorce also usually have to get used to a big brother as a substitute for their father, because relationships between children and their non-custodial fathers declines very rapidly within a year or two after divorce. We find that only about 30% of children of divorce see their non-custodial fathers as much as once a week. And 20% see them only once a year, and another 20% once every 5 years. So, of course, the mother sometimes, who's generally the custodial parent, keeps the children from seeing the father in many instances, too. The reason being that, see, he gets visitation and she has custody. The father has visitation. Well, maybe she didn't like where he took them the last time, or maybe he brought them back sick, so she's angry at him for this, or else maybe he didn't pay his child support or didn't pay enough of it. So she uses that as a weapon, you can't see the child. Well, then he retaliates, and some of these men, especially with younger children, will kidnap their children and carry them off, and the mother may never see them again unless these children make an effort to look their mothers up later on. Children of divorce also have a lower standard of living, for the reason that I just mentioned here, that about 50% of the non-custodial fathers either pay nothing or only about half of what they should pay in child support. Well, you say, what about AFDC? Can't they go on that? Well, the average benefit is only $350 a month for a mother and 2 children. And that's average, of course, throughout the country. And if she goes to work, as the television news pointed out recently in the major newspapers, women today still only earn, in general, about 70% of what men earn. So children of divorce tend to be disadvantaged economically. Adolescent girls who are products of divorce often get involved in what they call sexscape. And then they marry prematurely, and some of them, of course, have abortions. While the teenage boys get involved in other types of delinquency, drugs, shoplifting, and so on. And then they go on to a little older children, young adult children of divorce. They tend to have a 50% higher divorce rate than children from intact families. So we call that the cumulative effect of divorce. The second type of family household I wanted to talk about here is the step family or blended family. This is a result of the fact that about 75 to 80% of divorced people remarry within 2 to 3 years of their divorce, and 60% of these result in blended families. And in general, this is where you have a divorced woman with children marrying a divorced man whose children from his first marriage are living with his ex-wife. Well, today, Dr. Paul Glick, a demographer, says that about 30% of all American people are involved in a blended or step family situation, and that by the year 2000, probably half of Americans will be somehow involved in a step family situation. Well, what about the consequences of this? Well, blended families find it very difficult to assimilate new members and to assign new roles. The mother, for example, tries to avoid the ugly stepmother image, stereotype, so she tries to be a supermom. And the new father tries to take control sometimes too fast, and meanwhile, especially if his new wife has teenage kids, they go kicking and rebelling against this new family that they had nothing to do about creating. The older children, too, sometimes reject the stepfather because they don't like him playing the role of their natural father or taking their mother's attention away from them. Maybe they don't like his personality, the new chores or the disciplinary tactics that he starts in the new family situation. But anyhow, the Step Family Association of America states that because of all the problems in step families, that without counseling, about 70% will end in divorce. The children are disappointed too because they think if the new father comes into the picture that the chances of their natural parents getting back together again are over. And then there's the problem between the step siblings. You know, like the new husband's kids from his first marriage say, well, gee, Dad's showing more attention and spending more money on these new kids that are practically strangers than he is on us.